Jonesy and Amanda.
Jam Nation.
Well, the 2025 federal budget took place in Canberra overnight. Treasurer Jim Chalmers handing down his $17 billion budget plan. There's a lot to unpack. Who were the winners? Who were the losers? We're joined now by 7 News political editor Mark Riley. Hello, Mark.
Hey, Amanda. Hey, Jonesy.
Mark, what are you going to do with that $5 you're getting extra a week now?
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll buy an old Sting CD or a police CD. There's a bit of controversy about that. The $5 next year, $5 a year after. And it's going to be the central debate now in the election campaign. It's all about tax. It's always going to be about cost of living, but now it's going to be about tax. Last night, Angus Taylor, the Shadow Treasurer, was saying it was an offensive small amount and that they're going to vote against it. Pretty brave move to stand in the way of any tax cut, frankly. But perhaps they've got an alternative that there's more to. Jim Chalmers explained it as a top-up payment, so a top-up tax cut. So we're getting $40 average off a week through the stage 3 tax cuts, and this is an additional $5 on top of that, so $50 in 2 years, which means that as you're paying more tax in what we call bracket creep, isn't that a great term? As you creep up the tax brackets as your wage increases and you pay more in tax, governments get billions of dollars out of that. This will return that money back into your pocket. So it's a way of approaching bracket creep so people don't get bigger tax bills, like exponentially bigger tax bills as they earn a little bit more.
And who were the other winners? What do you think was the big broad strokes?
Everyone's a winner. This is a pre-election budget, so the list of winners is as long as your arm, and the losers are mostly foreign investors and other people who don't vote.
Very smart.
And it's almost in every area. Think about it, a lot of the big announcements were made before this budget, right? They didn't really expect to have it. We thought we'd be off to the races on an election campaign. This would be week 3, but if not for ex-Cyclone Alfred, it changed all the plans. So this is really option B, having the budget and then waiting for a later election. So we know the big stuff like the $8.5 billion to increase bulk billing. So you go to the doctor, you don't pay a gap if you can find a bulk billing doctor, and there'll be more of them with those incentives. You've got the urgent care clinics. We know about the $150 in the energy rebate, which has been extended. So $75 a quarter for every quarter up until the end of this year. Then the government will review that. So that helps a bit. There was a number of other smaller announcements that were made along the way to this budget that we already knew about. But in this in particular, there are a few things here that are quite interesting. I reckon the one that's a bit of a sleeper is these non-compete clauses in contracts. So I must admit, I was a little bit surprised by how widespread these are. So you're talking about, this is not high-flying execs or, dare I say, radio stars who have these, the golden handcuffs. This is in industries like construction and, hairdressers and childcare. And these non-compete clauses essentially shackle you to a job. So if someone offers you more money to go somewhere else, you're prevented from doing that. And they've just sort of wheedled their way into contracts over years and by stealth and spread. Last night, Jim Chalmers was saying there are about 1 million workers who had these components as part of their contracts and probably aren't aware of it. Right. So what they're going to do is ban that. That means that you have a little bit more flexibility in your work life. You can take that other job. And the analysis that Treasury has done says that if you do, you're probably about $2,500 better off a year in higher wages by being unshackled from these contracts. So it's pretty big.
It's good news for us because next year we are starting up our own barber salon.
Salon, Mark.
Just mullets, Jonesy? Or
whatever you want, Mark. Whatever you want.
I wouldn't mind going back to the mullet, mate. I'm turning blonde again, or sort of grond. But anyway,
grond.
Hey, Mark, can I just ask you? Do you think this is an election-winning budget?
It's certainly, if they're good enough, Amanda, that's the point. What they've got is exactly what they wanted, which is a fight on cost of living and tax relief. So we don't know what the other side of that fight is yet. We don't know what the opposition's packing. We'll find out on Thursday night when Peter Dutton does his budget reply. So they're going to have something that's bigger and better than this because they're standing in the way of that tax cut. So, but if the government's good enough, yes, it can win on this. The point really, I think, is that what I've been sensing over the last few weeks is the government's just starting to get something that it hasn't had for 6 months, and that's a little bit of momentum. It's not huge, but things are just starting to move in its favour a little bit. So the polls are turned over. It was 51-49 behind. It's now 51-49 ahead. It's only a little bit, but it's enough. And in this game, when you get momentum, you build it, you chuck a saddle on it, you jump on it, and you ride it to an election as quickly as you can. So I reckon they're off on the weekend.
That's a good analogy,
And
Mark.
you're giving us
Thank
the
you.
word grand, which
We'll
I'm loving.
sit down there for the grind or the Dutton special, which is totally all gone. Mark Riley, thank you for joining us for all the latest coverage. Watch 7 News tonight at 6 on 7. Mark Riley, thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks, Mark.